Okay, so this video is gonna be 2 parts. I literally rambled on for 35 minutes and I know you guys don't wanna sit through that. So it's gonna be in a 2-part segment of videos. So if you guys wanna watch these videos, go ahead. I'll make sure to put the link to the other video down below. So there'll be part 1 and part 2. So much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more videos like this, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Okay, the thing that I did for the bad thing was I was going through like a weight loss program. I had gained the normal weight that you gain after you get married, and so I was like, I'm gonna do this weight loss thing. Now this was in also the process of me trying to figure out what was going on with my body and my hormones and why I couldn't get pregnant. So I did this thing where it was something that we did at church. So it was like a whole group thing, and it's all about calories. Like you cut out breads and sugars, and you're supposed to slowly introduce these things back in. You get rid of the addiction part of it, but you're able to be comfortable with food. Honestly, this diet triggered something in me. I was supposed to eat only 1,000 to 1,200 calories, but I couldn't go below 1,000. Anyways, I lost 30 pounds super quick and it was awesome. I felt really good about myself. I've had a lot of confidence in the time where I was falling apart. I found people were noticing, the outward aspect of what was happening. Sure, a part of that was great, but me being a controlling person that I was, like I said, I started to really realize that I can manipulate the system in eating. I just felt like, especially after getting the devastating news of not being able to have a child, I spiraled out of control. I wanted that comfort, but obviously I didn't want to gain the weight back again. This is where it got really, really bad for me, because that is when my eating disorder started. And a lot of people think that I couldn't have a kid because I had an eating disorder. That's not the case. I started hurting myself after I found out that I couldn't have kids. We decided to move out of the state too. We moved to Tennessee, and that was great and all, but I hid what I was eating and how I was eating from my husband, because I knew it was bad. I knew what I was doing was bad. I was miserable through that whole time. I was alone, I was alone physically, alone mentally, and alone emotionally, and I should have relied on God, and I tried to, but I didn't want to give up what I was doing because it was like a release. I feel like I was just stuffing all this food in my face, literally depriving myself of food all day. And then at night I would just stuff myself with food and then regret it, and then regret what I was doing again. So it was awful. I don't wish that upon anybody. It was pretty bad. It was a whole year of doing that. I was really, really skinny. I was at my skinniest. I started getting bald spots on my head, and I literally had this huge bald spot on my head. I don't know if I can insert a picture, but it was awful. And I didn't even take a picture at its worst because I was so sad about it. I was just kind of freaking out, and I told my husband, oh my gosh, I need to go home. I need to go back to my doctor. I have Kaiser Permanente, which it's only available in a couple states, so I literally would have to fly home to go to the doctors. So I flew home, I got some steroid injections. I ended up getting a spot back here on the backside too. So I had this huge spot up here, which thank God I had a lot of hair. I was able to cover it. I would clip this, do a bobby pin so it would cover. And then down here was fine because it was covered most of the time. I just couldn't wear my hair up. And so I went home and would visit my family or whatever, and then flew back. So I was able to spend a lot of time with my dad during that time because my husband didn't fly home with me. I would just go home and get these treatments and then come back. Well, 3 weeks after my last treatment, my dad was in the hospital and he was in a coma and he was on life support, within a day. So I flew home and was able to say goodbye to him. I think that's just when everything hit home with me. It's I could choose to go home and binge and purge if I wanted to, but I was only killing myself. I literally was so sick. I couldn't even I didn't have energy to do anything. I was losing my hair. I knew my body was just in survival mode. It was oh my gosh, what are you doing? When my dad died, it just made me realize life's too short to try to take control of my body. I thought I had control over my eating. And that's what everybody with an eating disorder thinks. Like, I have control over it. Like, I got this. Until you're in that black hole, it's just like a downward spiral to where like, you don't even know how you got there. Like, how did you even get there? It just happens. And so when my dad passed away, I was like, you know what? I need to come clean. I need to tell my husband, I need accountability. I need help. And I knew I had a lot of triggers. So I told my husband about it, and he was so supportive, and he was very patient and loving through the whole process. And I started eating a raw vegan lifestyle, and I was able to get healthy, and I gained I think it was like 20 pounds back or whatever. So I was super healthy and doing things really well. And I knew I had triggers. I knew I couldn't emotionally deal with them at that time. I needed to know that food was good for me, and I was able to keep down all of my food, and I didn't relapse like one time. And so that was awesome. That was so cool. But I feel like I healed so much in such a little time, and it was a year and a half that I was raw vegan. And I would eat cooked foods. I would do like raw tofu or whatever. I just made sure that I was getting all the nutrients I needed and eating enough. So it was a year and a half, and then like I just started my period on my own and talked to my doctors, and my doctors were absolutely shocked, and they're like, what did you do? So it was kind of like something that was absolutely terrible, finding out that I couldn't have kids, dealing with that infertility, but also dealing with my eating disorder allowed me to hit rock bottom and heal my body through food. I know that God has a huge hand in like my healing as well. I'm not discrediting that, but I'm saying food is so important. And because I was eating healthy food and getting the nutrients I needed, my body was able to heal itself and start its own periods. And on the second month, I got pregnant. They weren't even able to get me on a normal cycle with medication. So I don't know what was wrong with my body before, like why I didn't produce estrogen, but I know that food had a huge impact on me being healed. I'm very thankful for finding raw veganism to help me with that. When I got pregnant, I listened to my body, and I felt like I needed to eat cooked foods. And so I did. And I had a lot of cravings too. So that was a part of it as well. That's kind of my story on how I got pregnant. But it's a phenomenal one. If you're watching this and you're struggling, please know that there is hope. No matter what, God is so good. And everything that you go through teaches you something. Everything you go through is a learning experience. Take it from me, like I turned the worst situation in my mind even into a worse one, if that was possible. Like, and I want you to not do that. If you're sad and if you're tired and if you're just like feeling like you need to give up, don't self-harm. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But I feel like in my story, what the enemy wanted to turn into evil, God changed all of that evil and turned it into good. And I feel like that literally is the story of my life. Like, could have been a lot worse, but God took all of the bad things and he turned them into good in the end. And I'm so thankful. And because I went through all of this, I can't just hold it in. I have to share it, because if not, then he wouldn't be getting the glory for what he's done in my life. So take it. Do what you want with it. Just needed to get it out there. I wanted to share that. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. It wasn't until I met Ellie and Jared that I was like, you know what, I need to do this. I need to do it. So thank you, Ellie and Jared, so much. If you have any questions, I am an open book. So go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I will make sure to respond. I hope you guys have a really good day. Thank you so much for watching. I know this is a really long video, but thank you. Love you guys. Bye.